next week, should we do our get to know us video?
Um.
And then that way they can ask us like questions that they really want to know about.
Yeah, we can do that.
Q&A. Get to know us with Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A with Q&A.
Yeah. Welcome to Marriage Mondays, where we spend Mondays talking about marriage. My name is Kamara.
My name is Ameer.
And today's topic is Our Story Part 2.
If you haven't seen our story Part 1, it'll be in the link in the description below.
I didn't tell my dad that Ameer and I were going to go on this meeting. So my parents are divorced, and my mom and I felt that maybe it wasn't the best thing to tell him that we were going to go on this meeting. It was a huge mistake because it caused a whole bunch of drama. So definitely keep your dads involved because it causes drama. I knew like after we got done with the meeting that there was going to be this huge problem. So I like made istikhara right there. When I got home, I was like, Ya Allah, if this is good for me, let my dad be okay with it and kind of have a happy ending to this phone call. And if it's bad, if Ameer's not good for me, then, let my dad shut him down like right then.
Right after our meeting, the next day I was at work and I got a text from my mom and she was saying, hey, don't call Kamara's dad yet. We need to talk about things. Basically, that's when the drama hit. And I found out that her father never knew about the meeting. Thinking back on it is that I should have talked to her father in some way, shape, or form before I'd gone on the meeting. But I kind of assumed that he knew where she was, but
he didn't.
He didn't.
He did.
And
oh man!
It gave me almost more incentive to talk to her father because what kind of man would I be to go on basically a date with his daughter and not talk to him and confront him about the situation? So it kind of encouraged me to talk to him, but it also discouraged me. It was like
a red flag.
Yeah, a red flag. I'm like, man, like what's going on?
This girl's wild.
I didn't want to get married, and I go out with this girl and her mom, and all of a sudden there's all this drama, and I'm like, man, I just got here.
You're just an innocent bystander.
I decided to call him, I think that weekend. And I was thinking about what I would say to him. I was just like, man, I'm not going to overthink it. So I just gave him the call. I'm like, Assalamu alaikum. He was like, Walaikum salam. I'm calling because, and then he's like, let me stop you right there. And so he says, he was like, you met with my daughter without my permission, without my knowing. And he said, what kind of Muslim does that, basically? And I'm thinking, I just met this girl. I'm not about to put up a fight with her father for her. I don't know her.
He wasn't gonna fight for me.
No, I wasn't. I didn't know who you were. I was like, this girl just put me out there to dry. He was going on, and I kind of interrupted him, and I was like, look, I met your daughter. I understand that there were differences of opinion in what was going on in the situation. I understand your position as the wali, and you being in that position, you have the right to end things or allow them to continue.
You wanted things to end, didn't you?
It was almost like an ultimatum. I said, with everything that went on, do you want this to continue or do you want this to stop? Because we can end this right now.
Right here now. It's done.
When I said that, he was like, oh, no. It's okay. I understand. And, we can definitely
playing games.
So the next weekend, I was going to come out and we were going to have dinner together and I was going to talk to him and meet her father. I think that's when her father actually had respect for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he ended up liking me.
You weren't like begging.
Yeah.
So he was like, I can't play games with this man. No.
There's no way. There's no way.
So our first dinner, and I wasn't there. I was at work when this happened, so yeah. I really don't remember much of this. I just remember being at work and then coming home, asking if anyone's saving you a plate of food.
Yeah.
And
I remember the drive. When you drive from the south, when you drive from the South Bay to the North Bay, you drive through the mountains, sort of, and the scenery is just amazing. I got to their neighborhood, and I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad. It was just it looked like they lived in the hood, like. But I was coming from the South Bay, and I live in a different type of area.
Yeah, really,
So
really.
I came up there, I'm like, okay, this is a little different, but alhamdulillah. I met her father. He came to the door. He greeted me. I greeted him, and we just had casual conversations. He asked me about where I was from, what were my goals, where was my position in Islam, and he asked me what was my sect, like what
Oh, he did?
yeah,
Madhab you
what
follow?
madhab I followed. And so personally, I don't follow a madhab because there's something in the hadith that talks about how there will be 73 different sects of Islam and that only one will enter paradise. And I think that being Muslim alone is all I need. I don't really stay strict to a certain following or sect.
So moving on. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So we met in September. So
Right.
I'm gonna fast forward to October.
Mhm.
So Amir would come over like every other weekend. My mom was like, we need to invite Amir over for Eid weekend, because I think Eid was on what, like a Sunday that time. No, Eid was on a Saturday,
I think
and
yeah.
Eid was on a Saturday, and my mom was like, Amir's by himself. We should invite him over for Eid. He could spend the weekend with our family, blah blah blah. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, if you want to. My dad on one hand was like, don't be chasing no dude. Like, don't chase him. He needs to do the chasing. And I'm like, I'm not a part of this. So my mom was
Yeah.
like trying to, like basically kidnap Amir all the time. And my dad was like, Kamar, don't take those steps. Let Amir take the initiative. So we were kind of late because my dad wanted to make brunch or something. And we're like, okay, we're running late, so we're just gonna eat there, so we should go. And when we approached the community thing, there was like cop cars all around the park.
Yeah.
All around the park.
Yeah, I remember this because I came in and apparently there was a fight breaking out because there was drama in the Muslim community. So
So Amir gets out of the car, and I'm like thinking, what the heck is this black man doing getting out of the car when there's police officers over here? What is he doing? Where is he from? So he gets out and he approaches the officer and was like, "Hey," and I'm like, why is he talking to the officer in that tone? Like, he's not white. What is he doing? And he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And me and my brother look at each other like, this man is crazy. He's like, you can't keep your car right here. I'm trying to enter, your car is blocking my pathway. Officer was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll move. He goes, yeah, because I can't get in. Move your car. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, they were just in the
Like, dude
middle of
is
the parking lot. I'm
crazy.
like, what do you expect us to do? Like, I'm not like you need to move your vehicle. There was no reason for you to.
Oh, battery die? Anyway, so moving on. So we finally get to the park. People fill us in on the drama, and we're like, dang, that's why the cops are there. My
Mhm.
mom, she's there. She was like, do you want to introduce Amir to everyone? I was like, not really. That's kind of weird. Like, what is he to me? Like,
Yeah, I was nothing.
you were
I was
nothing to
just
me. You're
I
just
was
a
just
guy.
yeah, we were just in a communication ship,
There was
you know?
nothing. Like,
Nothing more. Nothing more.
yeah, so she was like, how about you go introduce him to, all the aunties? I was like, that's weird. Why would I do that?
Hmm.
Why would I do that? But okay, she was like, okay, we'll go introduce him. So I did to one auntie, and I was like, "Something, auntie, this is Amir." We're talking.
Yeah.
So that was like day one. And day two, we had a day planned to go to Angel Island, which is like by San Francisco. So we were gonna take a ferry, and we're gonna go to.
Man, it was so cold that day.
So we arrived at Angel Island, and we're gonna go for a hike. So we're hiking, and we're going around the little island and stuff.
remember, remember, you guys couldn't get up those steps.
We could get up the
You know,
steps. We just had to take pauses.
man, there's like maybe 100 steps or something like that, and this is the beginning of the trip, and So we're
There's
walking up
hella
there,
steps, and those
and
steps were steep.
they took maybe 20 steps, and they had to pause. I'm like, wow. And that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, she doesn't work out at all. We gotta give a shout out to Naeem. Remember we did that front flip off that bench?
Now you do the front flip off the
Yeah, he
bench?
did.
Oh, I remember you
That's
and
when he
Naeem.
was first learning, I think. And he did it off the bench. That was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, so at least they have some athleticism in the family.
We were trying to find like a picnic area so we could eat because we made like these sandwiches for us to eat for like lunch or whatever. Mm-hmm. So as we're going down, it's like really, really leafy and slippery, and then I like slipped. But before I could fall all the way, out of reflex, Ameer catches me. He like catches like my arm and stuff, like holds me up with like one arm, like I'm a freaking rag doll. Like he grabs me by my arm, my elbow.
I saved your life.
You did. That was the first time.
She was gonna. Yeah, that was the first time with Minnie that I saved her life. She definitely has 2 left feet. You should look at her walk. She has 2 left feet.
I just can't walk straight. My knees. There's something wrong with my knees. Anyway, so after we're done eating, we're in like this picnic area. It's in this log, and you like walk past the log, and we're like, yeah. let's walk past this log, and the log is pretty high. It was up there, and it wasn't high. It had to at least be 10, 15 feet off the ground. I think
we all walked across it, and she just did the most for no reason. She started crawling. She crawled halfway, and then she crawled back. Like, what sense does that even make?
I was scared. I got to the middle, and the middle was like the highest point, and I was like, I'm gonna fall, and I'm gonna die. I would have broken my ankle.
No, broken anything.
Broken my ankle. Ameer makes it. Everyone else makes it, and I'm like, forget it. I'm not doing that again. So Ameer decides to try to do like this front run kick up a tree.
When I went to run up the tree, my flat slipped on the face of the tree. When I went up, I lost traction.
Sure. And he landed straight on his butt, just like clopped straight down. I was like, ah.
Kamara hasn't done a flip in her life.
Hey. You don't know me. Yes, I have. I did a round off thing. Those count.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
That's a freaking variation of a cartwheel.
Yep, and I could do a whole bunch of variation of cartwheels.
I ended up proposing.
Well, before we get to that, you're jumping the gun. I gotta talk about how I felt after this point.
Oh, okay. How'd you feel after the trip?
After this trip, I really liked Ameer. Did I love him? No, I liked him. I saw myself falling in love with him. Like, I looked at him and I was like, okay, you know, I could see myself loving this guy. Do I love him now? Nah, I ain't there yet. Do I like him? Yes, I do like him.
I think as this process was going on, you know, as I was meeting her family and getting closer to her, I was having all of these thoughts in my head, and I'm thinking like, I like her personality and things like that, but
did you like me though? Like,
yeah.
Did you like me?
Yeah, I liked you. I didn't like you.
You didn't like me like me.
Yeah, I don't know what like.
I
wouldn't say it's like. No, I liked you, but I wasn't.
See, hold on. There's liking someone as a friend. Like, did you like me as a friend? Is that what you were feeling? Like, I like her friendship. Let me like this friendship last forever.
Okay, so let me explain myself. So at the time, I had a good friend that I talked to, and they really helped me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I remember they were just saying, you should make istikara, and you know, if she's right for you, then you know, inshallah, Allah will guide you. But at the same time, they were saying that I shouldn't just rush into things, right?
Yeah, by this point, it's only been
like
a month.
2 or 3 months.
No, a month.
I'm a dream guy, so I have interesting dreams all the time. After I made istikara, I had a dream that Kamara had woken me up for Fajr. And then when I woke up, you know, it was a good dream, and I'm like, okay, maybe Allah's telling me that she'll be good for my deen. I talked to my mom about it, and I was expressing to her that there's no point in me to continuing to just like go to her house and just like talk to her and talk to her family. I already know what I'm gonna know. She seems like she has good iman and good character. That's one of the things that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. If you find someone who has good iman and good character, then you should marry them. This is clear sign from Allah. So I decided that day I would go and propose over the weekend. I set up a meeting with her dad to come to his house for dinner, and that I wanted to talk to him.
Amir and I, we didn't have each other's contact information. The only thing we had was we were following each other on Instagram, but we didn't communicate through Instagram. We didn't comment on each other's pictures. There was no type of communication because my dad didn't give us permission to do it, so we didn't talk like that. The only time we talked was when it was supervised with my family being there. His mom was sending me text messages about, oh, how you feel, give me smiley faces, like, I really do like you, Kamara. And I was like, oh, thanks. I'm glad someone likes me.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. After the trip, I drove them back to their mom's. After the trip, we drove back to your house, and I had to leave because I had work, obviously, the next day. Your mom got out the car, and you were in the front seat, and she was like, "You guys need to talk." Right? So she waited on the porch, and it was kind of like our first time actually being alone together.
Yeah, that was super awkward.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to figure out what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of understand like what was really like going on. I was like, so
she basically asked me how I felt about her.
Yeah, basically, but I don't remember how I said it.
Yeah, it wasn't direct. It wasn't direct. It was definitely a indirect question, but that's basically what it meant. She caught them feels. She caught them feels.
I did, and I wanted to make sure we were on the same page. And what do you think of me? I think that's what I said.
Yeah, and I said, "You're a pretty cool person." Like, that was it. Like
that was like the first compliment he's ever given me while we were doing this process.
Yeah, I think it was the first and almost the only one, right?
Yeah,
and I never asked her if she liked me though, because
you just assumed.
I just knew. I could see it in your face. Like, yeah, I was. After the first date, it was over for Kamara. Yeah,
I think I just caught the feels.
When I told her I thought she was pretty cool, I guess she took that. She was like, "Yes, that's what I wanted to hear."
I was like, "Okay, good." I guess that's what I got. Were you nervous?
No, I wasn't nervous. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, I gotta have some type of gift, right? So I bought a ring, and I bought like a hijab or something, but I didn't show her the ring.
My dad.
Yeah, so I went to her dad, and Kamara was in her room or something.
No, I was at my mom's house. Yeah, my dad was like, "Don't come over." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, so I sat down with him. I said, I gave him salams, and I said that, over these past few weeks, I've gotten to learn more about your daughter and your family, and I think she has great character and great iman, and I would like to ask for her hand in marriage. And he was like, "Oh, okay."
My mom was like, I think Ameer's gonna propose. And I was like, what? It's only been a month. Oh my gosh, like, is he gonna propose? Like, oh my gosh. And then my dad, he calls me and was like, Ameer's here, but we're talking, so I don't want you to come over yet. And I was like, okay, this is weird. This is the first time he said not to come over. So I was like, oh man, it's about to go down. Like, oh my god, okay. So he calls me again, maybe about like 30 minutes later. And he says, okay, Kumar, make your way over here now. We have something to talk about.
So yeah, he called. So I guess he called her over, and she rolled in awkwardly on this chair because she's the queen of awkwardness.
Oh god, I forgot I did that. I like went in the chair and like rolled. Oh man, I did do something so stupid.
She does the most awkward things. Part 3 is gonna be freaking funny.
And I go in, awkwardly walk to the chair, sit down, kind of at a distance. And my dad turns to me, and Ameer has his like head down. My dad turns to me, and he's like, so, brother, wait, he never called him Ameer. What did he call you? He would call you like brother Samir, brother.
Oh yeah, Samir.
He called him brother Samir so many times, and Amir would just like, okay. No, brother Amir came here, and he asked me for your hand in marriage, and I think, I approve of this. So now it comes down to, what do you think? So my dad just straight put me on the spot, like right in front of him, and I was like, I never said the word yes. I said, I think that is a great idea, and we can continue to go on to this next process.
Yeah, I remember hearing her say that. I'm like, what is she saying? Like, what is wrong with her? She can just have like a normal response. I was like, man, she has some serious issues. I'm looking like, okay. I was only gonna ask once. I knew it was early, so I'm like, but I guess you gotta play it by feel. But yeah, that was the second make it or break it moment. The first was when I called her dad, and the second was there. Like if she had said, "I think we need more time to get to know each other," that's for me. That's a signal that all right, no.
We are officially like engaged at this point, and we still couldn't have any like contact. But I was like, okay, Dad, can he drop me off back at my mom's house? So my dad was like, okay, yeah, just because you guys are engaged doesn't mean anything. I was like, okay, so can you still take me to my mom's house? If not, I'm gonna walk. It's nighttime. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So we get in the car, and he was like, so what do you want for your dowry? And I was like, oh, I forgot what I said. I think I said, oh, just like a walima, just like a something. I can't remember what I said. And he was like, oh, so he had like this box in his hand. He's like, oh, so I should just return this ring then. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, wait, let me see it. So then he like opens up the box and has like my ring in it, and I try it on, and he's like smiling. He's like, okay, now take it off. I was like, wait, what? Why? He goes, because you'll get it after we get married. So take it off. And I think that pretty much sums up part 2 of our story.
So part 3 will be in a couple weeks or so, and it'll go over our experience after our engagement.
Leading up to the wedding.
To the wedding. It'll talk about the wedding and the drama that ensued.
I guess this concludes our video now.
Yeah, that concludes the video. Thanks for watching. Q&A out.